Hey, welcome to the Saturday Smoker. It's Friday afternoon, and I have an all-night cook ahead of me. Today, we're going to have a little bit of a rumble between the Old Country Brazos and the Kamado Joe Big Joe. We're doing pulled pork, smoked pulled pork tonight. Tonight we'll be running 3 pork butts on the Brazos. We'll be doing 1 pork butt on the Kamado Joe, and we will see in 12, 13, 16, 18 hours which one comes out victorious. So stay with me. I'll be bringing you along for the ride, and I hope you enjoy. Alright, this is how I set up the Kamado Joe Big Joe from my cooks. I put 2 sticks splits in the kick ash basket. I put charcoal in the middle. Spread it out a little bit. Like that. Alright, fill up some more. That's my setup for the charcoal on my Kamado Joe. My Kamado Joe Big Joe is about 6 years old. I've used it extensively for those years, both grilling and smoking. I invested in a CyberQue Fan System about 6 years ago when I bought my Kamado Joe. It's been really good. I can't say enough about the CyberQue. It is expensive. There are probably better units out there now for less money, so shop wisely. I'll be using the CyberQue fan system for this cook, so I'll show you how I set up the Kamado Joe, and we'll get her going. So here you see the CyberQue. I just have it plugged in right now with the fan in the bottom, and then there's a temperature gauge that goes up through the vent up at the top. So I'll put my divide and conquer system in and get that ready to go. Unfortunately, I broke one of my ceramic plates, so I have to use it in the high position because it won't hold it, won't stay up. So it's not a big deal. The pork is not as big as the plate, so I probably won't have any problems. And that's how that'll be set up. And then put the grill on. And that's how she'll be set up. It's pretty simple. Kamado Joe makes it very easy. Alright. Need to light it, obviously, so I opened it back up a little bit. I'm just gonna shove a tumbleweed down there, and then I'm gonna get that going. Once that's going good, I'll move the charcoal back over it. And I'll put my divider back in. And I'll shut it up and it'll start going. And probably you'll have about 40 minutes before I put meat on. The Kamado Joe has been lit and it is starting to warm up. And we'll swing over to the lighting of the Brazos. And we have all seen this, so I'll let you know. I'll bring you back when I got the charcoals to dump in. Okay, Brazos has started. Put another piece of wood in there so it starts to dry. Big old piece of oak. Alright. I had an old cupboard door laying around, so we have a pretty good wind coming out of the west. So I just put that up really quick just to make sure that I'm getting a good draw without it blowing back through the smoker. So probably should rearrange this setup I have, but I like it the way it is. It functions really good. Your firebox door should be facing where the wind's coming from in best case scenarios, but I can't really do that right now, and I'm not going to move all my stuff. So this is what we have for right now. Sorry about the clicking, that's just my cheap tripod. Whee! Alright. For this cook on the Brazos today and tonight and maybe tomorrow, I'm going to be using a water pan. So I'm going to put that in now before it gets too hot. And all that does is sit over on this side. And I just fill it up with water. And she'll close it down. Here you can see that thermometer's all fogged up with moisture. Yep. Don't buy cheap thermometers, guys. Splurge a little. You got a $500 to $1,000 to $2,000 smoker. Don't go cheap on your thermometer. It's not worth it. I had a comment on the YouTube channel about how I have that coal grate set up. So you can see I have it offset just a little bit from the firebox there, about a crack, about the same amount as the openings that I have in the coal grate. So I matched that. So that's how we have that set up, and then it ends there. So that's how I have my coal grate set up, guys. Okay, the Brazos is up to temperature, and I'm gonna go get the pork. The Kamado Joe is almost there. It's right at around 200, so I'm gonna give it a few more minutes, and then I'll get pork on that too. Again, we're going to be doing 3 pork butts on the Brazos and 1 on the Kamado. So, man, it's going to be an adventure. This is my first time staying up really late. Usually I get up really early and do a cook, but my son has football tomorrow, and we have to get the cook going so that it's done and you guys have a video. So, wish me luck. All right, here's 2 of the butts. I didn't show you my prep method because it's pretty simple. I take them out of the bag and I put rub on them, and then I put them back in the refrigerator for a little while, and then I take them out and put them on the smoker. So just use the same rub as that I used on the ribs, and it's pretty good stuff for just standard fare, guys. And you've probably seen how to prepare butts for smoking about 1,000 times. So there's 2 of them. And there's the other 2. I'm going to put the biggest one on the Kamado, so it's more of a fair game here. So I do fat side down, and that's just the way I do it. So I'll get these put on and take you along. Okay, so this is the Kamado Joe 2, Big Joe 2, and my hinge is broken. So this is what I have to do. I just hang it on a bungee cord. Not a big deal. And then there's the meat on. Okay, both smokers are going. Both smokers have meat on them. I'm not going to touch them for 3 hours. Not going to opening up the cooker, not going to open up the Kamado. Just let it sit. In 3.5, 4 hours, I'm going to start spraying, and I'll bring you along for that. And I'm just going to use cherry juice with apple cider vinegar. I'm going to reduce my water this time. I think my water was a little, I think I had it diluted a little too much. The sugar didn't caramelize as much from the juice last time, so I'm not going to dilute it so much. So I think I put a cup of water in last time, roughly 3 to 1, I think. I can't remember, but just going to reduce that down a little bit. Put more of the apple juice or cherry juice and apple cider vinegar, and then less water. Wanted to take a second and talk about what charcoal I use in my Kamado. I use lump charcoal, and I get the cheapest I can find. I either use red bag Royal Oak red bag lump or cowboy lump. A lot of people look down on cowboy lump. I've been using it for 6-7 years, and I've never had a problem with it. Once in a while I get a rock or something in it. I mean, you get that in any of your lump charcoal. I've got it in, I've tried the Kamado big lump. I've gotten rocks in that. In fact, Kamado big lump I tried, and I got a weird fuely taste, almost like lighter fluid. So I stay away from that stuff. I have not tried some of the bigger name brands, some of the really high-end charcoal lump. I just don't do it. I'm a backyard smoker. I use what's available and what's cheap. So if you have any insight or any comments on that, you're more than welcome to share them. But that's what I use. I've been using it for years, and it works really well. So we really enjoy the barbecue that I get off of my smokers. So I don't see a problem changing right now unless someone gives me free bags of charcoal lump, and that's not a request. Okay, it's almost 7 o'clock, so I'm going to take you along. We're going to open up the cookers and see how the pork looks. First we'll do the Kamado, and then we'll do the Brazos. Okay, so let's go take a look. Okay, this is the Kamado pork, and as you can see, the bark hasn't set up yet. So it's 3 hours in, and the bark is not set yet. So we're going to let this go another hour before I open it back up again. Open up the Brazos. Ooh. We're about the same here. So the bark hasn't set up yet, but the cook is going good. Everything looks good. I'm going to have to rotate these at some point, probably in 2 or 3 hours. So water pan's looking good, but we're going to give these another hour before I start. The bark hasn't established yet. So it's a little bit after 8 o'clock, and the pork in the Brazos is ready to be sprayed. I checked the Kamado Joe, and that stuff was still a little wet, so I'm going to give it another 30 minutes before I start spraying. Just here's it is again. That's all there is to it. It's getting late. The lights are on now, so I hope you can see okay. It's going to be a late night. That's just the first. Every 45 minutes now I'll probably spray. Alright, well, it's time to spray down the pork on the Kamado. Woo. Smoky. Alright, it's 8:30, and we will see you back here in about 45 minutes. Well, it's 9:45 o'clock, and I'm gonna spray down the pork again. Trying to do it every 45 minutes, so we'll just keep going until the pork's done. It's gonna be a long night. right around 160. Hey, good evening. It's about 11:20, and just did my first temperature read on all four pork butts. They're all reading right around 155 degrees, which is going really good. We'll be entering the stall phase pretty quickly here. My guess is that stall will last an hour, 2 hours, and then we'll start cooking again. I'm planning on wrapping in butcher paper after I get done with the stall, and I'll bring you along for that. I'm just going to go ahead and keep spraying and keep checking every probably half hour, 45 minutes. It's about 12:30. I'm going to take some temperature readings, see where we're at. So we're doing pretty good, about 165. So we're getting through the stall. Probably another 2 to 3 hours. Hey, it's almost 2 o'clock in the morning. It's really late. And I'm going to check the temperature on the Kamado Joe Boston butt, and then I'll do the Brazos, and we'll see where we're at. And hopefully we're not too far away for me wrapping them. So here we go. These boys are looking good. I want to get to 170, I think. This one's got to be close. Still got a ways to go here. It's doing pretty good. Okay, well, it's after 2 o'clock right now, and we're going to pull the pork off the Kamado. The Kamado is past its stall, so it's at 170. So I have some pink butcher paper. I want to wrap it up and put it back on. So I'm going to do that right now. Okay, got the pork on there. I'm trying to be quiet because the neighbors might think I'm a bank robber or something. Okay, that ends up that first one, and I'm going to probe the other ones right now, but I don't think they're close to being done yet, or through their stall. So I usually aim for about 170 when I'm wrapping my pork. Okay, so I'll be back. Okay, I'm pulling them off the Brazos. It's been about another half hour. Getting punchy. So I'm gonna wrap these up, put them back on, and wait till they hit 205. Hey, it's 8:15 right now. It was a long night. I don't think I've done that since college. It's not something I want to do again, I have to say. The pork got finished at about 5 o'clock, and I pulled it off and put it in the coolers where it's resting. We're going to go ahead and start pulling that, and we'll show you the results here in a second. Okay, so this is the pork butt from the Kamado. I'm going to unwrap it here. This is my first time using butcher paper. I've never used it before. It's pretty amazing. It absorbs all the extra oil. That. Amazing. Here's the bone. Look at that. Pulls nice and clean. Now the bark isn't quite as dark as what came off the Brazos last night. I can already tell that. I don't think it has quite the same bark that the stuff off the Brazos has. You'll see that in a second. Here's a good example. It's mahogany red, but it's not quite as dark as what came off the Brazos last night. Okay, so here we have one of the pork butts off of the Old Country Brazos. I'm going to open it up. This one's got some much stickier. I'm losing some of the bark. Some of the bark stuck to the paper. Maybe I waited too long. Just a little bit. So hot, by the way. Ouch. All right. So, you gotta find the bone here. It flipped over on me.
clean bone. You can see the darker caramelization of that bark on this one. Get a piece here. I think it flipped over on me. The bark is much heavier on the stuff off the Brazos.
So I'm going to wrap things up a little bit. Very happy with the results from both smokers. My wife commented that the bark on the butts off the Brazo were much better than the bark off the butt from the Kamado. But the Kamado was much moister. And I think it's just a different cooking styles between the two cookers. You know, you have an offset, and that has a different way of cooking versus the Kamado in the way that it uses its heat source. There's a lot more heat coming redirected in the Kamado from the ceramics, where you just have smoke flow and heat over from the offset going out the chimney. So all in all, it was a good experience. Will I do it again? I probably will not stay up that long ever again for this. Maybe for my children or dying friend or something like that, but I don't think I'm going to stay up till 5 o'clock to cook pork. So most of my cooks will be during the day on Saturday. So thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe and give me a like, share please. So enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you again later.